Hey everyone, it's Matt here, and today we're doing another episode of Did I Get What I Ordered? And recently, for the last few, we've actually been doing some fun little hints at the beginning of the video. So we're going to be doing that again because we're going to have some very interesting games this time. So we're going to have two imports. And two of the games, not telling you whether or not they are the imports or not the imports, are going to be from the same console. It's actually a Nintendo handheld. And the other one is actually going to be from a Nintendo console. So in this case, I highly doubt you'll guess the games, only because when it comes to one of the games, it's actually from a franchise that we've talked about on this very channel before, both from a 5 game translations video and from a video that we did of this very series, Did I Get What I Ordered? But when it comes to the other two games, they are from franchises that I've never talked about here before, so I don't really think you'll guess the game. I mean, you can guess the game down below if you'd like, but definitely when it comes to this video, guessing the console slash handheld would get you some points. But either way though, it's going to be very interesting. You'll see it right now. These games are going to make you go, has anyone ever put these games in one YouTube video before? So the first game we're taking a look at is one that I already took out of the box, so let's bring it right into the shot. Guitar Hero on Tour for the Nintendo DS. So I'm sure you're probably asking, Matt, why? And here's the thing, so my dad got me this game when I was a kid, but the weird thing is, while I still have the original box, and I even have the add-on that you plug into the Game Boy Advance cartridge slot on your original DS, I don't have the game. So I thought, oh man, I hope it's not going to be a lot of money online, and I found it, and this is including tax, free shipping. It was $5.17. So I thought, you know what, let me just get the game, we'll see if it works here, and I don't know if I need the actual add-on, so we'll see if I do need it later on in the video. But what I do know is that the game was so cheap, so I thought, why not? But when turning this thing around, there's this weird little white, like, I think it's like a piece of paper or something at the bottom. Also, looking at the back of this, it does seem like this is a legit copy. In the off chance that you're thinking, well, is this a legit copy? Who's bootlegging Guitar Hero on Tour? But it does seem to be legit, but this little weird, again, it might just be a piece of paper or something. I don't know. So either way though, I hope that doesn't for some reason make it not work, but let's see if it works right now. So I'm actually using my 3DS because it has a capture card installed in it and my DS does not, but there was a little bit of a human error here because I was trying to put the game into the cartridge slot without touching the cord that actually plugs into my computer, but as you can see, it does read the game, so let's actually start it right now. Well, that's hard to read, so let's actually flip this around and it says, "You can't rock without a Guitar Hero guitar grip. Turn off the power and insert the guitar grip." So I kind of need to do that, so we're actually going to go over to the DS and record footage, not directly from that, but with a camera. We're taking it old school now, so I actually have the guitar grip inside as well as the game in the cartridge slot, so let's actually load this one up. Now, I'm a little nervous because the Game Boy Advance slot is just not doing too hot, so I don't know if it's going to be able to read this and read the inputs, but as long as it works for the purposes of this video, I just want it to work so we can all see it working. And look at that! It works! So I don't know how I could ever try to capture video for this game, but yeah, that's going to be very interesting in the future. Okay, so this next one is really cool. As you can see, it comes from PlayAsia, and I bought this one, and I looked this up because this game was actually released over, and by the way, you can see that I already took off the very hard to take off tape. I already took off some of that, but this game actually recently got fan translated, so I thought, oh, I'd love to be able to pick it up. But on eBay, it was a bit too much for my liking, so I thought, you know what, PlayAsia does have some retro games. Wow, that's very hard to take off. So I said to myself, PlayAsia has some retro games. Some of them are not as expensive as you'd think because they are coming directly from Japan. So I thought, you know what, maybe. So they do have, oh, this is interesting. So the character here is to start earning rewards now. Maybe I will. I mean, I haven't bought since, so maybe I should have started earning those rewards then. Play exclusives. Also, this is interesting. It's like a little like a card holder thing. All right. So anyway, so this game is called Earthseeker, which you'll see in a second because there's so many other goodies in here. Alright, so here it is now. Earthseeker. This is a Wii game that, from the looks of it, is sealed. I don't know if it's a resealing or not, but I bought this game brand new from PlayAsia, and it was only $18. And then, when looking at the shipping, it only ended up being about 23 to 25 bucks, and it's a Wii game. I did not expect to find a Wii game in 2020 for that cheap. Also, I should have mentioned earlier, this game is an RPG, so that's also really cool that there's a fan-translated Wii RPG out there. I have talked about some fan translations on the 5 fan translations videos that we do on this very channel, but when it comes to those for the Wii, there was only one fully finished at the time, so this is another one that I'll be talking about on a future video, going into some gameplay footage and whatnot, and also on our Lost in Translation channel, that if it is up by the time this video is out, I will put it in the description box down below. Can't read Japanese, so I don't know what any of that says, and I assume any of that Club Nintendo stuff is very much out of date. Now, looking at the manual itself, again, it is in Japanese, so I don't know what's being said here, but again, thankfully, the game is fully fan translated. But while I do have a modded Wii, I'm not able to switch the region at this time, so I can't test this disc, but I would assume as it is a brand new disc, it works just fine. So sorry everyone that we won't be having any gameplay footage for this game. Hopefully the manual will suffice, but again, it's just a deal that I did not expect. It's not that I don't expect a cheap Wii game on eBay or something like that, even from Japan, because depending on the game, you can find one, you know, you find some really cheap, but the fact that it was this much money from a place like PlayAsia and in stock, that was really cool. Oh wow, I'm getting some very big Nausicaa Valley of the Wind vibes from this game. So no idea why this game didn't come here. It was published by Nintendo, as you saw from before, so you would think that this game would have come here in some way or another, but it just didn't. So that's very interesting to be able to play this in English and be able to have this in my collection, so that's really cool. We're just going to take a quick look at the disc, same artwork as the cover, and it just looks beautiful. I really love the world that they're selling me on via the artwork. And the last game that we're talking about, like I mentioned earlier in the video, is one that we have covered on this channel before. It is Detective Conan and Kendaichi Case Files, The Great Encounter of Two Great Detectives. So this is a crossover of the ages that we never got because of the fact that there's no reason why we ever would get it. As you can see right here, it says for sale and use in Japan only. But either way though, we never would have gotten this because of the fact that when this game came out, Detective Conan was released here as Case Closed for a bit, but when it comes to Kendaichi, I don't think we've ever gotten it other than a random sequel series in the 2010s, but I don't think that is currently on Crunchyroll. It should be, but I don't think it is on Crunchyroll. Now, latter Detective Conan, though, is available on Crunchyroll, which is nice if you want to get into it that way, but earlier stuff, sadly, has not been relicensed since Funimation dropped the license. They only had done the first 110 episodes when the show is now in the 900s. Kendaichi ended a long time ago, although Tokyo Pop did pick up the manga back in the day, but they only did a few volumes before dropping it. And Conan is actually released as Case Closed by Viz. They're a little bit behind, but they are still like 80 volumes in, so it's not like you can't dive into the manga that way. So either way though, all of this is in Japanese of course, but I talked about the fact that I did discuss this in a 5DS fan translations video, so thankfully this is fan translated, and we'll definitely be covering it in a future video over at our Lost in Translation channel, which, if that channel is up by the time this video is out, I think I said this before with Earthseeker, you can definitely check that out in the description box down below. So like with Guitar Hero before, using my 3DS, and if you don't know this by the way, the 3DS is not only backwards compatible, that I assume you know, but it is also region free when it comes to DS games. Things get a little bit wonky when it comes to DSi games because those had firmware, but when it comes to original DS games, I can just pop this in and play it. As you can see right here, it does work, thankfully, just fine. And here we are. This is the game. even though I could have just stuck with the fan translation, sometimes I feel kind of weird if I'm either playing a fan translation or just talking about it on the channel or any one of the channels and I don't have a personal copy of it. Now, the game itself was worth 20 bucks, and then sadly, because we were in the middle of the pandemic, so shipping was a little weird from Japan, the shipping ended up being $20. So then when you add tax onto that, the game was $42.44. So normally I would not pay a price like this for an import unless it's extremely rare or something, because usually imports are a lot less. I mean, it really depends on the console and a bunch of other stuff as well. But when it comes to this game, I probably should have waited, but there weren't a lot of copies online anyway. It was from a popular series in Japan, so potentially there's more available elsewhere and it would have been cheaper down the line, but I thought about it and I thought, you know, if I'm gonna make a video about it, I'd rather just have it, and so now here we are making this video about it. But either way, I do think that, you know, from what I've played so far, I enjoyed enough that I definitely want to have it in my collection, so I am happy to have it in my collection. Either way, let's jump back to me in front of the shelf. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? I say it every time, say it every time. You look at this video and you think, that's what he picked up? Really? I mean, alright, I guess. But either way, like I mentioned throughout the video, there are reasons why I'm getting these, and I mentioned probably throughout the video that down below will be a link to our Lost in Translation channel, assuming it's up by the time this episode comes out. And if it's not, well, then you can probably find me posting about it over at our Twitter, which is @ThoseGuysRadio. All that stuff, by the way, all those links you can also find in the description box down below. So thank you all so much for watching. As always, love you all, take care, and tune in next time for something completely different. All right, everybody, so see ya.